Listen to me. You are watching Billy D.
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I am Billy D, and I'm having a you cannot trust a fart kind of day. So let's talk about other things that stink, like the worst movies of 2024. I really had a great time watching a ton of films in theaters this year. I had the AMC pass, so I got to see about 68 films this year. I would not want to spend Thursday or Friday nights any other way. But let's talk about the downsides of that, because I've seen a lot of terrible things. One thing that I was really hyped for that ended up not being a great film was Werewolves. Werewolves was one that was like Purge Night, but with wolves. The action was okay. There was a lot of strobe lights. The dialogue was and then the movie just ends. The movie should have went on at least 10 or 15 minutes more. There are some things that I would like more resolve on, but no, it was just that. Another one that I would say is a super disappointment movie is Kung Fu Panda 4. 1, 2, and 3 were great. I just really hate how they took out the Furious 5. I really dislike how they made Po from Kung Fu Dragon Warrior to Kung Fu Master, and he has to teach everything he knows to a kid because his mission days are done. He's old, useless, and the kid that he's teaching it to, you just don't trust them. They're awful. There's no redeeming qualities. Even at the end when they're the only one you can trust, you just don't care for the kid. And I don't really care to see where this franchise goes anymore, which sucks. I really like the first 3. This movie that I'm about to talk about is on everybody's #1 list, I bet. If not their top 5 worst movies of the year. For me, it's just a disappointing movie, and that's Borderlands. They totally miscast it. The music could have been a little bit better, but there's still some songs in this movie that I like. But I like clowning on this movie. I had a few friends that watched it multiple times in theaters with me because this movie was so bad. Me and my wife clowned on it the other night. I just can't believe they left crew members in there. Not to mention the CGI was so bad. And the funny thing is they're all playing it straight like, oh man, this is going to kick off a franchise. No. No.
10.
Tarot. Tarot is one of those horror movies that you love the concept, but you hate the execution. If you guys don't know what the movie's about, it's about these kids that find tarot cards in the basement. They go upstairs, read each other's futures. Oh, you're gonna die this way, you're gonna die that way. But the way that you see it happen is you don't. It cuts away, it's in the dark. It's just so awful, the execution of that. Oh, weird irony. Anyways, that was lame how they did it, and it's also lame how they did the characters. The only character that I really care or remember is Ned, but here's a good question. Do you really care about the character because he's in this movie and like he's giving you things to like about him? Or are you caring about him because he's Spider-Man's best friend? I think it's that reason, and that's why this movie sucks, is there's no redeemable qualities whatsoever. This movie can probably pull a sequel movie that can do this movie 10 times better, like a Ouija, but that still has yet to be seen.
9.
It's Conclave. Conclave is one of those trailers where you're like, oh, it's a murder mystery. Maybe there was foul play afoot. Maybe that's why the Pope died that way. Not to mention you see explosions. This is gonna be like an action thriller of like the century, and there was some great reviews coming in. I'm like, oh boy, let's see it. I took basically friends that love murder mystery stories like that, and I apologize profusely after this. This is about men being catty and like sorority girls, like, oh, you cheated on him with that and you got that person pregnant. Oh, you can't be the Pope for this reason. And then by the end of it, they voted on the person. It was almost unanimous. And then there's a twist ending, but Ralph Fiennes' character doesn't care because he can move on with his life. Oh, it's just, this movie sucks. And this is why I won't get a card to be a critic. Take it away, because I don't like this movie whatsoever. I don't get the Oscar buzz for it. So yeah, that's number 9.
8.
Number 8 should be on everybody's like top 10 worst movies of the year, and that's Joker. Joker is how not to do character development. In fact, there's a lot of character regression. I get it. He is not wanting to be the person he became. It was all because he was provoked, and then you have the courtroom drama side of it, and you're really excited because you were hoping for like a Bonnie and Clyde type of relationship with Harley Quinn and the Joker, and it just doesn't work out that way. She loves Joker, and he wants to be Arthur, and it just sucks. The dream sequences are alright, the musical numbers are okay, but this is just not a movie that I would recommend to anybody. In fact, this is probably a movie that you're like, oh, I like the first one, let's check it out on streaming. Halfway through, you're like, done. Don't pick it up again. I also don't like how Todd Phillips is talking about this movie. It just doesn't make sense that this was the route you guys were going down.
7,
I would call it Garfield, the advertisement, the movie, because all it did was advertise to kids, Walmart and Olive Garden, and it was basically Michael Bay product placement for a kids movie. The backstory you get on Garfield and Odie and like the character development for that's only 15 minutes, and then you get basically a sequel style movie where it's like Garfield's dad comes back in the picture. You have to go to this farm and get this thing. Well, this bull and this calf are in love, and then these cats or these, I don't remember what the bad guys were, but they were basically trying to get in on it. It was just awful. Like, there was too much going on all at once, and you didn't stick any of the landings. You were falling flat every time. Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt and giving Garfield lines was okay, I guess. But there was nothing I was jumping for joy over in this, adaptation.
6,
If you want to watch The Strangers, just watch the original because this is basically it with a new skin. There was nothing really creative about it. Maybe the under the house scene and the wood scene. But every time they do new things like that, they make unbelievable, terrible, awful decisions. They're like, what the heck, man? Why are you guys doing that? This is terrible. The first movie nailed it. I don't get to chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 yet, but I guess I'll see. I'm not going away because there's no way they can make a worse movie than this movie right here.
5,
5 should have been a straight up horror comedy because I was laughing throughout this entire movie. Imaginary. Imaginary is probably the most unimaginative horror movie on this list. They spent 2/3 of the movie in the real world doing generic scary movie stuff just for it to do like a 180 toward the end, and you're stuck in an imagination land that you can have fun in. But the thing is the horror scenes in that was just so stupid, radical, and hilarious. Like, she's walking in a hallway, what's gonna happen? And then a smiley, happy family portrait turns into scary bear faces. It's just so stupid. That's why this movie's number 5. They could have done so much more, and the psych out ending you could have seen coming a mile away. Imaginary, you belong here.
4,
This movie was just so dumb, so boring, and so predictable that you can't fathom it. It's The Watchers. Watchers is a movie that you had a better movie in your mind while you're watching the trailer, like, oh, what it could be. And once you find out what it is, everything just goes out the window for me. Like, fairies, really? Come on. And the cellar scene was just so boring. And the people that she stuck with, like the other participants in the zoo, they're awful. They're terribly acted, and they're so stupid. Once you get through the forest and you get out, you can predict anything and everything that happens. Like, who didn't see the old lady being that stupid creature from get-go? I was just waiting for this movie to end. This movie was just a hard watch.
3,
Night Swim. Night Swim is a January horror movie. I know, Billy, what were you expecting in a January horror movie? And this is where a red flag should have came in. Billy, it's a scary pool movie. A scary pool movie that comes out in winter? That's how you know your production team does not care for your movie. There are actors that I had high hopes in, like Kurt Russell's son. He doesn't do much. The scary ghost that you got to see was just not inspired. Like, it was just there. This movie is just generic horror movie, the movie. That's what it should have been called, because a scary pool movie is just dumb, and I realized it way too late.
2,
This movie I knew was going to be bad from the trailers. I just went in hoping it was like so funny, so fun bad that it's good, and that's Madam Web. Madam Web is one of those movies that you ask yourself, why did I even pay for the ticket? It's about a woman that can see the future and she can see certain things, but she can't see herself going blind. Explain that one to me. Not to mention, even things, like I don't have to be psychic and know dumb teenage girls aren't going to be dumb teenage girls in the forest alone for more than 5 minutes. They're going to go off and do their own thing. And that's on her for going back home, trying to figure things out and be on her own and just do things that way. She should keep a supervision eye on those girls at all time, because apparently the smart thing to do was go to a diner and dance on tables, and that's what they did. The Spider-Man character that is evil in this reminds me of Voldemort because he can't take out 3 kids. Hold on, he's worse than Voldemort because Harry Potter at least had some magical ability. These girls didn't really have any of their abilities, and the only thing he was trying to fight against was a woman that can see about 5 minutes into the future. And he still can't do it's just, why was this movie a thing? This movie was just awful. The only thing that I can give it credit for is Immaculate. If they kicked off Sydney Sweeney's career from this movie, that's what this movie's worth the watch for. Okay, I take that back. This movie isn't worth watching. Go watch Immaculate. That's higher on this list.
1.
Oh boy. Number 1. This movie's kind of a cheap movie. It was a straight to streaming movie. It was a Netflix movie with Jennifer Lopez. What kind of got me invested or involved in it is Mark Strong was on the poster, and I really like weird, crazy sci-fi type of movies. Atlas. Atlas is one of those AI-inspired movies because the fear of AI is one of the top trending topics, I guess. This was mostly just a 45-50 minute background story of tragedy and why we should boo-hoo her. And, oh, by the way, I said I was going to watch this for Mark Strong. I think he's only in the movie for about like 10 minutes. It wasn't even worth watching the movie for. I can go on about why this is a bad movie. You probably haven't even heard about this movie. Go ahead, skip it, watch iRobot, watch any other robot movie, any other AI movie. Oh, Afraid. That's a movie that came out this year. It's not at the top half, but it's like in the mid-tier. Afraid is better than this movie, and there's no big robot action scenes in it. I'd much rather watch an AI movie about that than whatever this hot garbage was. So that's my list. Did you guys think there's other movies I should have put in the bottom 10 of my list? And if so, what would they be? It's almost Christmas time, by the way, so Merry Christmas to everybody out there. I hope everybody's having a good holiday season. And if you guys can do me a favor, just gift me by liking this, subscribe. I'm just here to do this for fun, and I did enjoy this video, so I hope you guys liked it too. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, you little bastard.